like to call this meeting to order for the City of Geneva Historic Preservation Commission for Tuesday, May 18th, 2021. Good evening. This is the regularly scheduled May meeting of the Geneva Historic Preservation Commission. I am Paul Zellmer, the chairman of this commission. In order to help reduce background noise, I remind all commissioners to mute themselves except when they are addressing the commission or an applicant. The Historic Preservation Commission's function is to listen to testimony presented by an applicant and others with an interest in the case before us. The commission hears the pertinent evidence from the applicants and virtual audience, determines the facts based on evidence and testimony, considers and deliberates among themselves, and then makes a determination in accordance with the ordinance, standards, policies, guidelines as adopted by the Geneva City Council. This meeting will be conducted by video conference utilizing the GoToWebinar virtual platform. With our use of electronic meeting platform for this meeting, we expect there may be some technical difficulties as we move through our agenda. Please bear with us. The meeting will proceed with without a physically present quorum of the Historic Preservation Commission because of the disaster declaration related to the COVID-19 public health concerns affecting the City of Geneva. With the exception of limited city staff and myself, all commissioners and applicants, most participants are in different locations in accordance with social distancing guidelines. As allowed by most recent guidelines, some applicants and guests may attend the meeting in council chambers following all precautionary protocols. It is important that all cases scheduled for tonight be heard in order to continue city business and without delay to the applicants. Moving forward will enable ongoing construction, development, protection of property values, preservation of historic resources, and promotion of the city's economic vitality. Every individual desiring to listen and or participate in the meeting has been provided an opportunity through virtual participation information included in the various public notices and the agenda for this meeting. At this point, I will describe our remote proceedings of the Historic Preservation Commission for those who are not familiar with the process. For each item on the agenda this evening, our preservation planner will make a brief presentation regarding the specific request. The petitioner will then make a presentation on their proposal, and the members of the Historic Preservation Commission will ask questions of the applicant. Public participants may provide comments either through written comments or by speaking at the meeting. Each person will be provided an equal amount of time to comment. When it is time for the public to comment, staff will read into the record any comments received in writing in advance of the meeting. Following the reading of any written comments and any comments from in-person attendees, members of virtual audience who wish to speak will be asked to raise their hand through the virtual meeting platform hand-raising feature. Audience members will then be called on, unmuted, and given an opportunity to comment. After providing comment, each speaker will be muted once again. Please note that there will be a slight delay between becoming unmuted and being able to begin speaking. All comments will be recorded so that written minutes can be prepared of this meeting. Just a reminder that all speakers are asked to present their comments in a respectful and courteous manner. If inappropriate language or comments are expressed during this meeting, the speaker will be muted and the speaker's participation will be ended. Tonight, for benefit of those in the audience, I'm joined by Preservation Planner Michael Lambert, City Planner Chayton True, and virtually Recording Secretary Celeste Weiland. Recording Secretary Weiland, will you call the roll?
Yes. All right. Starting with Hartman.
Here.
McManus.
Here.
Solomon. Solomon. There he is. How about Stays?
Here.
Warner.
Here.
Zinke.
Here.
Chairman Zellmer.
Here.
And I see Mr. Solomon. Well, Mr. Solomon, you were here. There you are. You have a quorum.
Great. Thank you very much. Okay. The first item, or the next item on our meeting minutes is approval of the meeting minutes for April 20th, 2021. Does anybody have any comments about those meeting minutes? And if not, can I get a motion to approve the meeting minutes as presented?
I approve the meeting minutes as presented.
And I'll second that.
Okay. Did you get that, Celeste?
I did. You want a roll call?
Yes, please.
Okay. Hartman,
Aye.
McManus,
Aye.
Solomon.
Abstain.
All right. Stazen,
Aye.
Warner,
Aye.
Zinke,
Aye.
and Chairman Zelmer.
Aye.
That passes.
Great, thank you. Okay. The first item is a review of a conceptual development plan for 102 South Second Street. Take it away, Michael.
Thank you, Chairman Zelmer. The first case before you is a request for a proposed door installation. It is a concept review at 102 South Second Street. The property is located in the Central Geneva Historic District, listed in the National Register of Historic Places, and it's located about the center of the Geneva Historic District. The proposal is to add a door to the west side of the existing church facility and also an at-grade patio. The applicants have submitted a conceptual site plan. The proposed patio and entrance is identified in yellow and green with north upward. The beige part, just to orient yourself, the beige figure is the existing church facility. The shaded in areas are the vacant and open space to the west of the church extending over to 3rd Street. A view of the current existing conditions from roughly from 3rd Street, the 3rd Street public sidewalk. So you can see that the door and landing are proposed to replace some existing windows. The location of the windows are just south of a 1956 one-story contemporary addition that was designed by Jacques Brownson and Bruno Paul Contarato. Both of those architects were achieved international recognition for many of their architectural commissions throughout the United States and beyond. The original 1956 addition was extended in 1989, and these windows are located in the 1989 portion of that west wing. The west elevation of the facility was not highly visible until 2007, when the circa 1863 Worsley Corey House was moved from its 109 South 3rd Street location to 216 James Street, where it currently houses Harvey's Tales bookstore. The west elevation of the church facility abuts a narrow private rear yard behind the 1956 addition. As I said, the proposed doorway is in the location of existing windows. It's proposed just to alter that opening into a set of doors with a small canopy and landing immediately outside of the new door location. The request is subject to HPC review because it is visible from 3rd Street. Normally, we wouldn't review things at the rear of a building, but this particular elevation is clearly visible from 3rd Street. So as I was saying, the Unitarian Universalist Society is trying to pick up elements off of their existing building. I will let the applicants describe that in greater detail. So with that, I would like to turn the podium over to Kevin O'Neill, representing the Unitarian Universalist Society of Geneva. And I can move the slides back to any image you would like.
Thank you. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate that. Could you move it to the next slide too, just to show the the drawing design, so a little more of a close-up view of what we are envisioning. So as Michael said, this is on the west side of our property, a part of the 1989 addition or expansion. It's replacing 4 existing windows, so we'll just cut out those windows and put in the door and the landing. And then the idea is to have a paver patio at grade as you come off of that landing and go as far as what we can afford north towards James Street. And the other thing that, so the reason that I'm here is I talked with Michael to go over the concept. 2 things. One is find out from the commission if there's any particular requirements that you have in mind or think is necessary for us before we go into contacting an architect or a contractor so that we can do the plans. And the second thing is we hope to use, and our plan is to use low maintenance and environmentally friendly materials, and to make sure that at least at this stage in the process that would be considered acceptable for the commission. We do have those materials elsewhere on the facility. The shingles on the sanctuary, which was built in 1843, was replaced perhaps a decade ago with rubber shingles made out of recycled tires, and that was approved then. And then we also have some low-maintenance flooring on our porches that we installed a few years back. So those are the 2 main questions. The other one I don't know if is within the scope of the commission. If you go back to the drawing before, Michael, please, there you go. We'd also like to add a sign next to the entrance, or next to the entrance exit door, to be able to identify who we are on that side of the property too. So just looking for your guidance, directions, and requirements as we move forward with the project.
And just to clarify, the request for the sign, it does not come before the entire HPC. The sign request would be handled as under the sign ordinance and would be reviewed administratively. So the commission doesn't have to worry about the sign at this point.
Thank you.
Okay. Could I get a little clarity about what the materials are that you're going to build this? They look like they're either, are they going to be a wood material, or is it going to be metal, or is it going to be?
It would most likely be a Trex sort of product, a low maintenance Trex product that's I think typically made out of more plastic material.
Okay.
We just put those on our porches on the Pioneer House 3 years ago. And so we're looking for materials that are low maintenance.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking more of the actual posts and things like that, so.
Yeah, we'll figure that out once we get to the architect and kind of decide
okay.
what's best there.
Okay, I was just wondering whether, you're not thinking metal though, right?
No, not thinking metal at all.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions from the commission?
What is the purpose of this entrance? Is it just an alternate to the entry, the main entry?
It's more of an alternate out to a usable space. So that where that door will be is what we call our common room. It's where we have our social activities and so forth. And it gets kind of busy in there. And if we were able to have a little patio on the west side, we could really basically expand our usable space by having meetings and small gatherings outside on that side of the building.
Thank you.
I have a question. I believe that I read in your proposal that you are considering taking down one or possibly both of the splendid trees that are as you face as you face the building and you look at the windows, they're to the right. And I was wondering why you were planning on doing that.
Well, it will depend upon how the deck gets built, but the tree that is closest to the building, we have planned to take down because it's just too close. It's like within a few feet. And we're afraid of the root system damaging our foundation. We'd love to keep the other one that's farther west because it provides shade. But I just say we might take the second one down. It would depend upon how we configure the patio and how we configure the landing itself.
Well, I would hope that when you're trying to make that decision, that obviously your congregation is environmentally interested, and I would hope that you would do everything you can to keep the tree that is farthest to the west. I understand your concern about the roots and the foundation, but the tree that's farthest to the west, I really hope you will keep that one.
Okay? We'll do our best.
Thank you.
This is George Stazen. Is this time, Mr. Chairman, for some comments, or are we still in the question mode on this?
Question, comments, I mean, this is a concept review, so we're looking to give them direction also.
Okay. Well, from my perspective and an architectural one, I've got some significant concerns about the entire design for this entry. If we cite that it is a 56 building in the character of Van der Rohe from the IIT School of Architecture, we all know the simplicity of design and the elements have been preserved through all these years. I think it's admirable that we're trying to capture elements, or you're trying to capture elements from the rest of the building, but this entry completely, in my opinion, destroys the entire character of this 1956 edition from the School of Architecture for IIT, which is, again, simplicity itself. We have a gable-end sort of roof with possibly shake shingles or some other element in there, what looks to be a frame kind of porch element. And I think that, in my opinion, the only thing truly in character or could be in keeping with this elevation and the original design intent would be the doors. I don't have any problem with those at all, but this porch element that surrounds this, I am very concerned of the negative effects it has on this elevation.
George?
Can I?
Yes?
I'm interested on what you're saying. What kind of suggestions could you make
Thank you.
Yeah.
to make this porch more in fitting with the 1950s architecture?
Well, I mean, for one, I guess it's fairly obvious looking at the picture Michael put up in there. There's not one angular line or curved line in the entire elevation. So to be in character, again, simplicity itself would simply call for vertical and horizontal lines, in my opinion. Secondly, the materials chosen, again, are not in keeping with this elevation at all. I would expect to, and Michael, is that painted masonry on that elevation?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Concrete blocks.
So we have some type of metal, I would assume, for the window casings, and painted masonry. Looks like an aluminum cap on the flat roof. For framing, I would then try to pick up at least similar kind of materials as well. But, and again, I understand the concept of trying to capture elements from other places on the building that are around there, but focused on that elevation, it just, to me, is not in character at all with something that was deemed in the presentation to be architecturally significant in the 1956 edition. And, you know, I'm not a particular Mies purist, but this isn't there.
No, Carolyn asked the question I was going to ask, was to try to understand what George could envision as a replacement.
Yeah.
George, would you or anybody feel differently about that presentation if the ornament over the door weren't so organic looking? Is that maybe part of the feedback?
Well, and perhaps a flat awning rather than a gable end kind of, and something, you know, for columns and railings, etc. I would look for something in kind of a similar type metal than anything that is, you know, wood in or more natural material in character.
Something.
I mean, it's a straightforward entry, replacing the windows, but and the steps would be open risers.
I don't think they're showing open risers. I think that's just a
No.
artist rendering of what's going on there.
Okay.
No, I think we have, yeah.
And I think that it's just a concept of what that is. I mean, I look at, the other thing is you probably want to have, you might want to have a larger plan of what's going on there and how deep that is compared to your
Right.
landing and stuff like that, because
Right.
you may come off the side even.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
possibility too.
I don't know whether, I understand your point, George, but I'm not sure that, and I think maybe something that, I think going with something metal might be more appropriate, but I'm not sure you have to go as far as to go to trying to pick up what's, to work off the international, or the Mies van der Rohe look there, because I think this was, so I'm not, I can understand your point, but I think I looked at this and I saw metal on it. I didn't see
You didn't see a wood type.
a wood structure. And I think
Well,
that,
I didn't either until I saw that final sketch,
yeah,
which the elevation, the line diagram at the elevation that's up on the screen now,
yeah,
I think lends itself to be more in character
yeah,
with the rest of the elevation. But then if we could advance to that other concept drawing, that seems to be very rustic and not
True.
at all, in my opinion, in character with the rest of the elevation. And I don't know how, for example, that ridge line extends above the flat roof, how we would finish that from the backside. Is that open? Is it capped? Is it, and again, there, I think something that would be, you know, flat in or an awning type situation would work much better than that particular gable end element.
Well, I think that this is a concept, I think that could be developed to fix that, I think.
Right.
and-
Well, I
but-
was asked, so.
Yeah, I understand, I understand,
would prefer
but-
not to, infuse myself into
no.
the design, but since the question was asked,
Yeah,
I'm attempting to give some suggestions in
Sure.
terms of an answer.
sure. I agree.
Yeah, I'm actually glad, George, that you pointed that out. That didn't even occur to me.
Okay. Mr. Warner, do you have any opinion?
Nothing to add. I have no objection to replacing the windows with doors, making an access. But I think I would also favor design elements echoing, coming from that building rather than introducing something from a different period or style.
Okay. Mr. Hardman, do you have an opinion?
Yes. Maybe, I know this is conceptual drawing, but possibly when they submit a drawing, they could give a couple options as far as roof lines. I mean, I'm in complete agreement with Commissioner Stazen. I don't know what a solution is. It would look odd on the back side of that peak to be extending above the flat roof. And I'm sure there's other options that the architect can give us to look at as far as when they do submit a couple of drawings for building permit. Maybe a couple of different elevations on the roof lines for us to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have no issue with the door replacement as presented. Possibly some different materials and maybe a different roof line to be submitted, or with some other options would be beneficial to us.
Okay. Mr. Solomon, do you have anything to add?
Nothing specific, but I do also feel that the doors are fine as far as, and I understand the need to create an open space. I think we all understand these days having to have the ability to do some things outside rather than inside would be kind of a good plan. But I do think maybe the way the roof structure is integrated into the building should look more more born to it rather than looking like it's stuck on like Lego blocks.
Okay. Well, I think, does anyone else have anything to add before I kind of sum up? Okay. Well, I think that what I'm hearing from the rest of the commission is that I think we need to have a little more, I don't know whether we need another concept review, but we definitely need something that works more with the with the building that's there in the back. And then also, keeping in mind of, the heights and stuff like that. And I think that I would look at, we'd kind of want to know, it would be good to know materials, and the materials, we'd have to know them for the permit, but
Right.
but I think that if you, I think we're a ways from what I think could get approved.
Okay.
Michael?
So again, building on what Chairman Zelmer said and what the commissioners have said, I know you're looking for some direction where to go next before you invest in
Yeah.
architecturals. So I think what I'm hearing is that the commission is fine with the doors, fine with the landing concept, fine with the patio. It's the execution of the details. So Chairman Zelmer had suggested perhaps you would like to come back for another concept review. Perhaps what is the next logical step, architecture usually progresses in a couple of phases as you work with an architect. Perhaps you want to now have enough confidence to move forward with this project with an architect and have maybe a couple concepts of what the canopy may look like, and come back as a concept review at that point. I don't think coming back with another sketch is going to be necessarily as productive as getting to that first step with your architect and coming back with a couple of concepts that the commission can react to, and then that will allow you then to finish up the drawings in one direction or another and submit for permit. So I think that would be
Yeah.
probably the appropriate way for you to proceed. I think there's no problem. I haven't heard anybody have a problem with the doors or the patio concept, which I think was one of your major concerns.
Right,
Yeah.
right, exactly. This is the sort of feedback we wanted now, before we hire an architect. And,
Sure.
go and start spending money. So this is very helpful to get this feedback
Mm-hmm.
and input from the commission, so I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you for coming in. I appreciate you going through the process. Okay. The next building is a review of building permit application for 217 North Second Street.
Thank you, Chairman Zelmer. The Craftsman House at 217 North Second Street is located in the northern portion of the Geneva Historic District and in the northeast corner of the North Geneva Historic District listed in the National Register of Historic Places. The house was built between 1923 and 1925 for Edward and Anna Johnson. Mr. Johnson died in December of 1926, and Anna Johnson sold the property in 1928. The property was owned by Paul and Myrtle Nelson from 1943 until 1976. The latest documentation we have of it having an open porch is the 1945 Sanborn fire insurance map, which shows the porch still open as late as 1945. In 1976, the property was sold to Sarah Myers, who in most likelihood is the person who enclosed the porch sometime between 1976 and 1986 when John Lance purchased the house. The owner applicant is seeking to install a Craftsman cottage-style door within the existing opening for the purpose of climate control, privacy, and security. Currently, no solid door has ever been installed in the opening. It's only had an aluminum storm door at the opening. So in accordance with the permit review matrix, this request for a front door requires HPC review. Ideally, the adopted design guidelines for historic properties would encourage the reopening of the original porch. However, that goal is beyond the scope of the work that has been requested. The proposed door is sympathetic to the Craftsman architecture of the home. The proposed installation of an all-weather door will not cause any additional adverse impact to the architectural features of the existing porch, which has been closed for some 35 to 40 years. Mr. Lance is here tonight, and he's here to elaborate with any other details and answer your questions.
Good evening. Thanks, Mr. Lambert. Yeah, you stated it accurately. We're just trying to really add some security to that porch because there's the main door on the house is the original door that you would have entered, which is 3/4 glass. And so you can pretty much see into the living room from the street if you look accurately. So we wanted to add a higher level of security with a solid door on the face of that porch, and also in keeping with sort of the architecture of the house using a Craftsman style door. So that's really all we want to do is just replace that old aluminum door with a solid storm door, or solid entry
Solid door?
Solid entry door, yeah.
Now, is it a three light? I mean, there was a.
No, it's a single.
It's a single light.
It's a single, yeah.
The single light, because,
Yeah.
yeah, I noticed in the literature that you had that there was one that was circled and then it was X'd out, and that was.
Yeah, we were shooting for that, but because it's kind of a custom size, they can
Yeah.
only do a single.
Oh, okay. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Does, questions from the commission? Carolyn?
So the storm door is staying?
It's going.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, we're not putting a door on top of another door.
oh. Okay, so the new door will be the door that's in the center there?
Yep,
Yes? Okay.
yep, yep. That's what you'll see from the street will be a brand-new, nice door instead of a beat-up aluminum door.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep, thank
And
you.
it'll be in that mahogany finish?
Yeah, it's going to be a dark mahogany finish. Yep. Which is in keeping with the color of the door behind it, too. So it'll add a higher level of security to the house. It'll also open in, which is a lot safer than a door that opens out when you've got somebody standing on the steps.
That's true. That's true, yeah. Yeah, I myself think that this is a good solution to the problems that you have just been reiterating, and I think the door that you've chosen is very appropriate to the architecture of the house.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments from the commission?
Oh, well, fine.
Okay. Mr. Warner, anything?
Nothing to add.
Okay. Mr. Hartman, Mr. Stazen, anything?
No, I have no questions or comments.
Okay,
No, I think it looks good.
okay. With that, if I could get a motion to approve as presented?
I'll do the motion.
Okay,
I move that the property at 217 North 2nd Street, the new door that will take the place of the storm door on the enclosed porch, should be approved as it has been presented.
great.
I'll second that.
Okay, we could clarify that it's a single light, not a triple light.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. The single light as opposed to the triple light, which is on the material that we have that we're looking at.
Okay, and we got a second from Ms. McManus. Can you call the roll, Celeste?
Yes. For the door, Hartman,
Aye.
McManus,
Aye.
Solomon,
Aye.
Stazen,
Aye.
Warner,
Aye.
Zinke,
Aye.
and Chairman Zelmer.
Aye,
That passes.
great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thanks for coming in
everybody.
tonight. Okay. With that, I am up to the secretary's report.
Thank you, Chairman Zelmer. I just have two brief items. Just to keep you informed of what's happening at 422 West State Street, I am meeting with the general contractor tomorrow to review their mortar samples, some of the investigations they've made, and some of the structural repairs they're considering for the building there. If you recall, that's the limestone residence that most recently served as an antique store, and they removed the large 1957 bay window. So they are working with appropriate consultants to come up with the proper resolution for structural changes, cleaning, and repair of the masonry. And then the only other thing tonight is that provided we stay on track and the governor keeps moving us towards phase 5, we expect to be back in person as a commission here in the city council chambers in June, but we'll keep you informed of that as the orders from the governor's office develop. And that's all I have tonight.
Great, thank you very much. Okay. New business from the commission.
David, didn't you have something you were going to tell us?
Is that for me?
Yeah, that is. I was going to ask whether you have some news to tell us, David.
That's new business. Well, I am resigning my post from the commission. This will be my last meeting. It's bittersweet that we're leaving our beloved Geneva and 402 Franklin, but circumstances have conspired to lead us elsewhere. And so it's with a heavy heart we are finding ourselves moving by June 7th.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my.
Yeah, things moving very quickly. So,
But David, I need to say that I really will miss working with you. You always had the most thoughtful ideas and comments on all of the projects that we worked on. And I will really miss you being at our meetings. Thank you for your service.
that means a lot. Thank you, Carolyn. COVID happened, and because of the freedom of information and all that, it keeps me from being able to meet with you guys more regularly. I guess I kind of imagined that we'd be able to meet somewhere at a pub or have a glass of wine or a beer or something, and I believe we're much more like-minded, and again, circumstances have kept that from happening. So thank you, Carolyn. It was truly a pleasure. I know I've learned more than what I believe I've contributed. I'd like to thank the mayor, if this is being recorded, and thank all of you for your commitment and your sacrifices and your time and investing in preserving what we know to be a diminishing natural resource. I don't think anyone would question the importance of our trees. And yet, if you plant a tree, you wait 200 years, you get a tree, but you can't plant a historic home. And every year there's fewer and fewer. And you guys are on the front lines of helping to protect that. I'd like to thank Chairman Zillmer also for keeping the meetings on track and keeping people like me from waxing on too long. The meetings have been productive and enjoyable, and the praise is I think, well earned, and even more significant knowing how difficult it really is to do that. So thank you, Chairman Zillmer. And again, thank you to Michael Lambert for nominating me and for making our job so easy by giving us such a thorough background with images and descriptions and historical context and the Secretary of Interior standards and whatnot. It's a great education. I guess one of my, if I could just paraphrase one of my favorite guys, G.K. Chesterton, I'll just paraphrase him. He says, tradition, but I'll use the word historic preservation. Historic preservation means giving a vote to the most obscure of all classes, our ancestors. It's a democracy of the dead. So by taking into account people that have come before us, I just think it's a very honoring thing to do. And I guess I kind of stand opposed a little bit to the open concept and HGTV whatnot. So it's a great resource here. I've heard somebody call that homeowners guide to vandalism, but that might be a little severe. But I commend you to your work. Again, I thank you. It's been a pleasure, and hope to see you sometime down the road.
Yeah. Well,
Good luck.
Good luck. Thank you
Good
so
luck,
much
David.
for all the kind
Thank you.
words, and
Thank you, David.
you've always brought up the most interesting. You have a good perspective on things and keeping us honest in certain spots, which was really good. I appreciate all your comments and
It's a
your,
good team. Well, thank you.
thank
You'll be
you.
missed.
You're welcome. Okay. Well, with that, any other,
We have not received any written public comments, and there's
No?
nobody showing up online.
okay, so, and nothing from, no new business from the public. If I can get a motion to adjourn?
Adjourn.
Okay, and a second
Second,
from Mr. Warner? Okay, and I
Gotta
guess
get in
you,
there somehow.
Celeste, you'll call the roll one more time.
Okay. Hartman,
There.
McManus,
Hey,
Solomon? This is to adjourn.
Oh, yes.
One on, selected high.
Stason?
Aye.
Warner?
Aye.
Zinke?
Aye.
And Chairman Zelmer.
Aye. Motion passes.
Okay.
We're adjourned.
Good luck, Mr. Warner.
Good luck,
night.
David.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Bye, David. Bye.
Appreciate it.
Bye,
Carolyn.
good luck.